Welcome to Roadmap to 1 Million. My name is Stacey Zeal, and if you're looking to make more money, gain your time back, and rapidly grow your visibility so that you can impact way more people with your brilliance, you're in the right place. This podcast is your one-stop shop for turning your online business dreams into a reality. My main goal is to give women entrepreneurs just like you the marketing strategies, guidance, and expert insights you need to hit that $1 million milestone and beyond. Whether you're a coach, a consultant, or an online brand that wants to make a big impact, Roadmap to 1 Million gives you the actionable strategies and inspiration you need so that you can implement right away, no fluff, no fuss. So CEO, are you ready to buckle up and accelerate your growth? Be sure to follow the show and let's dive in. Get ready to uncover your roadmap to 1 million. Hey there, fellow entrepreneurs. Are you doing all the things but hit a revenue ceiling? You're building an audience, you're creating content and making sales, but you feel like something is holding you back from your next milestone. If that sounds like you, it's time to take our What's Your Missing Marketing Link quiz, your go-to tool to identify what's missing from your marketing strategy that might be holding back your business growth. Whether it's fixing your funnel or diversifying your efforts, this quiz will pinpoint those marketing missteps and guide you to success. Take the quiz today and uncover the missing link in your path to 7 figures and beyond. So head over to staceyzeal.co/quiz because success begins with identifying and fixing those mistakes. So don't miss out. Your business deserves to have the impact you desire. Visit staceyzeal.co/quiz. That's STACYZEAL.co/quiz to get a detailed report and the resources you need to help you grow. All right, let's jump back into the episode. All right, we are live.
We are live.
Yes, y'all.
We are on Facebook. Oh, here it is. Oh, I see.
We're live. We are live. I'm so excited, y'all, because we've been trying to figure out StreamYard for a minute because I didn't realize that it was this cumbersome if you didn't have an account. So it was mostly my fault, but yeah.
I'm like, she didn't give me no link. She did nothing. I'm sitting here like, where's the link?
Literally, like it's all me, y'all. It's all me. But I'm excited that we are here because we are going to be talking about how your website can make or break your ads. And so I'm going to be talking about this from the ads perspective. And I'm going to go ahead and let Sequenna go ahead and introduce herself first. And then I'll introduce myself and we'll get started.
Hello, everyone. I hope you all can hear me. Can you hear me just fine, Stacey?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Good. Because sometimes I swear I could be talking and the next thing I know, nobody can hear a word that I'm saying. And I'm just all excited and animated and all that good stuff. My name is Sequenna Luckett. I am CEO of Luckett & Co. We are a web design and web development agency where we help you create websites so that you can sell 24/7. So that is like the biggest thing that we do for our clients. And that's what I do every day, all day long. Just sit here and watch computer all day doing websites.
Yes. I love that because it's so important, y'all. And so, hey, y'all, my name is Stacey and I am the CEO of Stacey Zeal & Co. I love the & Co. Like I love finding other & Co. people. But yeah, so CEO of Stacey Zeal & Co. And we are a marketing consulting company. So we specialize in helping online service providers, agencies, and startups to accelerate their growth with strategic marketing as their fractional chief marketing officers. And we also help by giving them the training and support that they need to run their own Facebook and Instagram ads. And so I've worked in ads for years. I used to run ads at Zappos, generated $150 million in sales with Facebook and Instagram ads for some of your favorite brands like Adidas, Crocs, Nike, all these different kinds of brands. And so I'm excited to really kind of have this conversation because I remember when I was at Zappos, it was interesting because, Zappos is a very large brand, lots of different departments and moving pieces and that kind of thing. But one of the things that was so interesting was that we literally had we had web development teams, people whose responsibility it was to make sure that the website was user-friendly and people could, find what they needed. But we also had people who were responsible solely for checkout to make sure that checkout page was optimized and, efficient for people to be able to check out. And so regardless of how you're getting traffic to your site, whether it's ads, whether it's organic, whether, it's speaking, anything like that, right? Like your website really becomes your digital platform and your digital home.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people are going to look at your website before they buy from you. And so I think it's really important to have this kind of discussion, because I see people come my way. And, when people are asking about ads and things like that, and they're just like, oh, should I run my ads to the homepage? Where should I run my ads to? And so it's very, very important for you all to understand that your website is a big part of the success of your ads. And we're going to go into it a little bit more and really kind of talk about how that's connected. But that's my perspective. What have your kind of thoughts or perspective on that?
I always, and I tell my clients this every day, you need to use your website as a hub, because we always forget that once we build the website, we think, oh, the website's done, so I don't have to worry about it anymore. And we forget that that is something that you own. You own your site. So you need to kind of utilize that and leverage it in a way where you don't get a chance to, like you would with Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or any of these other, or I keep calling it Twitter. It's not Twitter anymore.
I still call them Twitter because his mama named him Twitter, so I'm gonna call him Twitter.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Twitter on this. But yeah, with your platform, your website, it is the most important asset, or at least one of the most important assets of your business, your brand. And if you don't utilize it in that way, then it's like, now what? So totally agree with you on that, with the connections between advertisements, website, because you need those links to connect people to where you need them to go. You need that call to action when you're doing advertisements. So how does that work? So yeah, that's key, because if you think about, when I talk to my clients about ads, I need y'all to understand that the goal of your ad is always to get someone to leave the platform. Like, we never do I ever advise people to run ads that are going to keep people on Instagram, which is essentially boosted posts. Like, I always tell my audience, boosting posts are a waste of money, because the way that Facebook kind of understands who we are and our behaviors is based on what we do on the platform. So it's able to identify if someone is more likely to make a purchase, someone's more likely to become a lead, someone's more likely to just watch a video, or someone who's more likely to just double tap and keep on scrolling. And so as advertisers, as business owners, our goal is to always get people to leave Facebook or leave Instagram and go to our website, whether that's a landing page on our website, whether that's, a certain page on your website. That's always the goal. And so you have to have that connection. So you don't want to boost any posts, because boost posts are kind of essentially you telling Facebook, hey, I want more people to comment, like, and share. And comments, likes, and shares don't pay the bills. We need to get people off of the platform and into a place that we own, like our website, so that we can actually send them on the right journey to being clients of ours. Absolutely. So people I think a lot of times with people, they forget that they have to do that. They have to connect those dots. And I'm always talking about connecting dots, and people are like, what does she mean when you connect dots? Well, when I connect dots, I have to make sure again, like you said, you're pulling people off that platform and you're taking them exactly to where you need them to go in order to, one, make that purchase, and two, for them to connect with you so that you can build that know, like, and trust factor with them. You don't do that, then of course you find that you are spending money on advertisements that you really don't have the money for at that point. So let's say, for example, we have clients, you and I, that, spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on a monthly basis to do their advertisements. But when they do those advertisements, we have to make sure that the dollar is well spent. So if I'm spending on average $10 on each client or each lead to come into my fold, is that lead, that $10 actually making me $100 or more in my business, so that it makes sense? Now I'm not spending money. It just makes sense for me to use those dollars to as advertisement, so that I can get what I need, which is more leads, which is more dollars in my door.
Yeah. And I would definitely say, in ways that I talk about ads when I teach clients, is that it's not always about spending more money on ads. It really is about optimizing your customer journey. And so if you have a landing page, for example, that is converting at 20%, and you work with someone like Sequenna to be able to increase your conversion rates from 20% to 50%. Maybe you change some headlines, maybe you add a video, maybe you do, there's lots of other things that you can do to increase the conversion rate of your landing page. Because then you go from having 20% of the people that landing on your page converting to now 50% of the people who land on your page converting. And you don't have to spend any more in ads, right? Like, so you're just actually improving that journey. And when you do that, you have more people that are actually able to view your offers or to book the sales calls with you or do whatever that next step is after they land on your website. But it's really important that you look at each different piece of your marketing funnel as a part of the journey that a customer is taking with you before they're going to really invest with you. And so can you give our people out there that are listening, tell us a little bit about how your philosophy when it comes to like designing landing pages, designing websites in order to make it so that, you know, they can let's talk about a landing page, for example. Let's say we have a landing page for like a freebie or a webinar or an event or something like that, because a lot of people in our audience are running ads to either webinars or live events or, you know, lead magnets, quizzes, those kinds of things. So tell us a little bit about your philosophy when it comes to how do we as business owners kind of approach our landing pages to make sure that the most people that land on that page are actually able to make it into our email system and to our sales system and that kind of thing? What are some tips or pointers that you have for people in that space?
You have to capture people's attention right away. So what I've learned is you only have 8 seconds to capture someone's attention. That's not just on a landing page, but also on your home page. You know, you have to make a person feel like, oh my God, I'm missing out if I do not sign up with this person today. So you only have 8 seconds to do so. Like literally, as we've grown in this digital age, humans have become little tiny gnats where it's like, here. You know, you're like jumping all over the place. Yeah. So you have to say, okay, how do I say what I need to say to this person so that they know who I am? I know who they are, and I can now capture that person's attention right away. So you have to have really good headlines. So copywriting is key. I am not a copywriter, so I'm going to tell you that right now. That's not my lane. However, I work with a ton of copywriters who I can say are amazing when it comes to writing great headlines, subheads, and call to action. So those are like the 3 things that you definitely need on your site right away at the beginning. And I also talk about how if they're coming to a landing page, then that means you are asking them for your email information. A lot of times you need to give away something, either a freebie or something that intrigues them enough to put in their email address and their name so that you can then get them into your funnel. If you don't do something like that right away, then it's like, well, that was fun. And they will bounce right out, and you'll realize that your bounce rate is really high. So I know a lot of people ask, what is a bounce rate? Bounce rates mean if someone comes to your site, how long does that person stay on your site or stay on that landing page for you? Otherwise, what is happening is now when they say your bounce rate is low or high, I should say, if your bounce rate is really high, then that means you have, let's say 100 people come to your site and then 60 of those people just bounce right off because they don't care what you have to say. But you have 40% of those people who actually stay. So 60% bounce rate is a really high bounce rate for someone. You're trying to get them to convert over. So you're taking that, hopefully that 60%, and you're lowering that number. So you want your bounce rate to be, I want to say 30% or less. Because if it's higher than that, then it's like, oh, I have a really high bounce rate and I want people to start converting. And how do I do that to them? I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. And one of the things I think that it really illustrates is the importance of us looking at our website data. And that's something that I literally do weekly. Like I'm jumping into Google Analytics and seeing like, what is my bounce rate? What are my conversion rates? what is the journey that people are going on when they come into my world, whether that's through ads or however they're getting there. And so it really speaks to making sure that you do have Google Analytics or something like that installed on your site. Do you have any other tools that you recommend, or is Google Analytics something that y'all install or
Google Analytics is a good tool. I always ask if people even have that on their site. And if you are, let's say, a product-based business, then if you're using something like a WooCommerce, then it automatically kind of lets you know what people are converting as if they're like looking at your products, but they're not selling. But Google Analytics is that's the tool that I tend to go to the most, because I want people to kind of know what's happening. And yes, we do connect those dots for you if you have it. And if you don't, I'm highly, highly, highly saying, please, please, please get it, because it actually helps you understand. Even if, and it's funny because some people are like, well, I have it and I have it connected, but I never look at the stuff. Mm-hmm. So now, because it has been capturing all of this information over the years, you now can go back and start looking at, well, what has the last 3 months looked like? What has the last year looked like with people coming to my site? And some people are like, well, I don't have 100 people coming to my site every day. I always say, even if you have 100 people, if you are giving them the experience that they truly, truly need, then you are able to convert them. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter. And I mean, people are always kind of I'm sure some people are going to look at me differently, but some people are always saying, oh, you have to have like 10,000 people come to your website and blah, blah, blah. Like, that's all great and dandy. But if you personally don't have that many people in your tribe that's coming to your site, all I can say is, as long as you are converting them over, that is what is important. So if I have 100 people coming to my site, or if I have 10,000 people coming to my site, 10,000 people coming to your site is all great and dandy. But if you're not selling anything and it's only at a 2% rate, what's the point?
Right.
What's the point? So your goal is your goal is to get to a percentage. So if you say, okay, this week I want to sell at least 30% of my products, then that should be your goal. No matter how many people come to your site, if you have 10,000 people and you got 30% of those people that are actually converting over, you're doing amazing. You know, if you have 100 people and 30 of those people say, hey, I'm going to buy your stuff, you're doing great. It doesn't matter how many you have, it's how many you convert. That's the important part.
Yeah. I love that, because I really want people to definitely start looking at their marketing numbers and percentages, because sometimes just seeing the actual whole number doesn't do it any justice. And even when you're thinking about things outside of websites, so like, for example, I've done live launches before for my course, Maximize with Ads. And one of the things I, kind of track when I'm doing a live launch is the conversion rate of my cart. And so if I know, like, okay, my conversion rate on my cart is 4% during a live launch. If I know that, and I know how many sales I want to get, then I can tell how many people I need to get to visit that website or visit that landing page in order for me to get the number of sales that I'm looking for. Right. And so that is why it's so important to look at your marketing as percentages, because like you said, it's not just about saying like, oh, I got 100 people versus 10,000 people. Because if you have 100 people coming to your website and you're converting at 30% versus somebody who has 10,000 people coming to their website and they're converting at 2%, right? Like, you may be making a lot more money than they are anyway. Because you're converting higher.
And that's the thing too. Nobody really knows what a person is selling. You can only see what from the outside looking in. So unless you're talking to that person, like if I say to you, hey, Stacy, what did you sell this week? And if I don't know that information, I'm only guesstimating that you're selling hundreds of $1,000s worth of products and services. I don't know that information. I'm only guessing. So with that guesstimation, it's like, okay, do you really know? And I have gone over this like several times with people, like, do you really know? You see this person, you're like, oh my God, they're killing it out here. But do you really know that they're really killing it? I mean, they can say that a million times over, but if they're not genuine, and if they're not standing in integrity to tell you, yes, this is what I'm really selling, then, you know, I mean, don't get me wrong, y'all. I have days where I'm like, shh, I ain't selling a damn thing today or this week or this month. But standing in that, and I can say that, you know, but it's a lot of times where I'm like, oh man, we killed it this month, you know, but you don't really know until you really talk about it out loud.
Yeah, you don't. And that's the thing, is like, that's something that I think that's interesting about ads as well, is that people have said to me, hey, this ad has a ton of comments or it has a ton of engagement. That must mean that it's converting well. And I'm like, no, that actually is not what that means. No, just because somebody has thousands of comments on ads does not mean that it actually is converting. Right. They may not even have set it up correctly to make it so that they're looking for sales. They may honestly be running a campaign that's set up to get likes, comments, and shares. Right. Like, yeah.
You have to understand that too, when you are doing advertisement sales, let's say on Facebook or Instagram, they ask you that information right off the cuff. They're like, so what is your end goal for this ad? You know, some people, you have the opportunity to do an engagement type of advertisement, which is great because you want the people to engage. Then you can take those advertisers, the ones that liked your stuff, and then of course you can create lookalikes, and then you can create advertisements around those people who are like, oh my God, they like this. Now they might even buy it because they were so intrigued with what we already gave them. So you have different campaigns that you work on. It's not just that one, oh, I need people to buy, and it's a sale situation. Your goal could be, oh, I'm going to be on my email list today. So the whole point of the advertisement is to get people to just sign up and just having that simple thing. But just think about it. We don't think about our websites. I mean, we don't think about email lists and all that stuff. We think, oh man, we need people to just like Facebook or like Instagram. That may not be the thing. You may want people to start getting on your email list, and why not create a simplified campaign around that where it's like, hey, let me see if I can get people on our list. We may not be sending out emails to them right now, but we might be utilizing that because email is gold. We all know how we had instances where Facebook and Instagram went down. And I think you were telling me about that too, Stacey, when you were doing a launch and Instagram decided it didn't want to show itself for the day. Was that you? Who was I talking to?
I have definitely had the experience of have Facebook and Instagram go down. And the biggest day for me, I remember that it went down was on Black Friday. And I was working at Zappos at the time, and I came in, and mind you, came in at ass crack of dawn at like 6 a.m. Like it might have even been before that, to be honest, but we had to come in super early. Came in, and our campaigns were just not spending. And they were not running, and we were just like, there were hiccups, and you can kind of tell when Facebook is going down because you're trying to log into it and it's taking too long. It's not refreshing. Like you can start to see those signals of like, okay, something's going on the Facebook side. It's not our ads, it's Facebook. And so that's what we were seeing was happening. And it's like, oh shit, we have very high numbers that we need to hit on Black Friday. So that it was one of those times where every hour counts that we're running these ads. And so I think Facebook was down for like half of a day or something like that, right? And it's like Facebook never goes down, per se, but it does, right? So it does go down. And so you have to really be able to account for that. And so when you have an email list, you can actually let people know, hey, we are running this promotion, right? And, this is what's going on. This is what we're doing. And I love what you also said about making sure that, one of the things, I'll start by saying this. One of the things I think that is so underutilized as an ad when you're thinking about Facebook ads is retargeting. Because essentially what retargeting is, for people who don't know, a retargeting campaign is essentially you running an ad to people on Facebook who have visited your website but have not completed a purchase. And so if you have, like, for example, let's say you have a lead magnet, you're trying to get people to sign up for a freebie or something. If there are a certain number of people that are going to go to that website and they're not going to sign up for it, like we were talking about the bounce rate and all that kind of stuff. Some people are going to go there and then they're not going to, convert, and they're not going to fill out the form. But what happens though is that as soon as someone goes to your website, Facebook adds them to your audience, like to a custom audience, essentially saying like, hey, Facebook, make me an audience of people who visited my website in the last 90 days. And you can take that and you can use that as an audience to run campaigns to. And so that's what's called a retargeting ad. And so when I think about some stats that I've looked at and some things that I see in my Google Analytics, right? Like, my new versus return visitor rate, and this is a metric you can find in Google Analytics, y'all. If you're not looking at it, make sure you look at it. My new versus return visitor percentage is like 90% of the people that come to my website are new visitors, right? Are people who come and they've never experienced me before. And so I'm not getting a whole lot of people who are coming to my website over and over and over again who and this includes my landing pages, everything, because I connect all of my stuff to Google Analytics. So whether you're using ThriveCart or landing page builders, you can connect all of that to Google Analytics so that all your traffic flows through there. And so I can run retargeting ads to people who, let's say, for example, they visited my course website or my course sales page and they didn't complete their purchase. I can say, hey, run them a specific campaign on Facebook, because what people are doing is they're always going to get on Facebook. They may not come back to your website, but they're always getting on Facebook. They're always getting on Instagram, right? And so it's a way for you to really kind of connect the dots between someone going to your website and leaving for whatever reason that they leave, right? So the dog is barking and they got to go to deal with that. Their kid's school called and they got to get out of school early. They just got distracted, or, they just weren't ready at the time, right? They're looking at it, they read your sales page, they're like, maybe now it's just not the right time, or they need a little more convincing, right? And so people leave your website for all types of reasons, but that's one of the beautiful things about when you have your Facebook pixel installed. And I will say this for the people, even if you are not running ads, please install your Facebook pixel, because your Facebook pixel, the way that I explain it, is really like a bridge between Facebook and your website. So Facebook is sending people to your website and it's getting signals back. It's like, did this person go to your website? What did they do? Did they take the desired action? If they did, that's a signal back to Facebook, hey, find more people like this person. And so that's how it's always working. And so the pixel is really that gives Facebook that visibility into what happens on your website. And you can start building audiences of people who visited your website from the day that your pixel's installed going forward. So if you are starting a campaign, for example, on April 1st, and you install your pixel today, you can retarget all of that traffic that visited your website from today through the time that your campaign starts, right? And because it's always just building that audience and capturing those people. And so it's really important to make sure that your pixel's installed, to make sure you have Google Analytics installed, and to make sure you're actually using that data and looking at the different ways that you can, the different ways people are navigating your site so that you can help to build your ad strategy around that.
I was just about to talk about pixels because people don't understand the connection between the two. They just think, oh man, Facebook is just sending people my way. Well, they don't know who to send your way if you haven't installed pixels yet. So you have to get pixels, and we help you with that as well. You have to get pixels installed on your website. So now when people are going from point A to point B, they know where to go. You also can, when you're targeting ads or retargeting ads, you then can have them go directly to a specific page, and they can add that pixel to that page. So Facebook will kind of know, oh, people purchase, because they also calculate and show when someone goes from Facebook to the landing page that they need to go to, it's actually, they talk to each other and you can see, oh, wait, they actually purchase, and you can see all of your purchases inside of Facebook. And you can see how many people have actually gone there if they haven't. And you can use that advertisement to retarget the people that haven't quite purchased yet, but yet you know that they're interested in your product. So now what can you do with that? So we kind of think about it as a full head-on campaign. People, I think, don't know that it's a campaign situation. I was actually listening to a podcast a few weeks ago, and the podcast I was listening to was old. So it was sometime in the holiday season when she was doing the podcast, but she was talking about how people usually tend to kind of create their holiday campaigns in the holiday. And with larger companies like Ulta Beauty or Zappos, they create their campaigns for holiday in June. Like we
We started talking about it in April.
Yeah,
specifically.
we're thinking about holiday stuff well in advance. Sometime even at the new year, like we just finished holiday and we're talking about holiday for next year.
Yes, and exactly. In January, it's okay, let's recap that campaign, what worked, what did it, and then let's put together a playbook so that way when we start talking about this again in April, May, June, we're not starting from scratch.
Exactly. So now we know what we're doing, who we're targeting at that point, what didn't work. And of course, you have some companies that have multiple customers, multiple audiences. So they have to target them specifically. And what does that? And I mean, it's a whole big old thing. Like people think, oh, I'm just going to have a Black Friday sale. And that's just going to end tomorrow is Black Friday. No.
Right.
We think about this well in advance. And it comes to even designing down to the website, designing products, for that matter. Like a lot of products that are being designed and developed are being developed from whatever happened last year. So if, a makeup case didn't look so great, then, we might have to discontinue that one particular makeup case and try another product that we might shoot for. And of course, different companies are different because Zappos have other companies that they sell their products, and Ulta Beauty is the same way. You, on the other hand, for most of our audiences out there, they have their own specific products that they're trying to push. And sometimes that can be a little easier as opposed to having like all of these different brands that you need to sell for. But when they're looking at that, what can we do to make that product work for you, and to how can we get it to sell in a different way? Sometimes we see things in a different perspective. If we kind of look at it differently, not just as the same product that I'm trying to sell all the time, how can I sell this in a different way so that it makes my audience say, oh, that's a new product. It's not new. We just perceive that it was new. And in advertisement, that kind of, we can perceive a product as a different, new, fresh design. And it's the same product that we've been selling for the past 20 years. We just decided to repackage it, or we're selling it differently because we saw that our audience liked it this way better. So, I mean, with the whole thing and what we're kind of going over as far as like advertisements, websites, that's a whole big thing. People are thinking, oh, no, it's just simple. Yeah, it is in so many ways, but in reality, it's not. You have to really think about the whole bigger picture. And that's something I know, Stacey, in your business, you do. I know I do the same thing because we think about the big picture, not just the small component of that one thing. Yeah, I do websites all day, but I also think about the customer journey. What does that look like? What does the experience look like when someone jumps on your website and they flow through your whole entire site? We think about the whole thing. We don't just think, oh man, just this one page. That's all we have to create. No, we have to create the whole experience and the entire journey from wherever your entries are. So like in your case, Stacey, your entry would be advertisement. So what does the ads do and how do they bounce to us so that that journey continues and it gets to the website? Now people are like excited about whatever products they have. Also, we need to think about when, let's say, a landing page, because you were asking me about landing pages earlier today. When you get to a landing page and you have that 8 seconds to capture someone's attention, what product are you selling and how quickly can they get it? So now it's not just about someone jumping to the site. It's now about, well, if someone clicked the buy button on your site, what kind of experience are they having then? Is it a long, lengthy, drawn out, like, oh my God, I have to go get this credit card. Oh, I got to log in. Oh, I got to do all this.
I hate that. I will literally abandon cart. I'm like, I can't do this right now.
I don't have time right now for the next 20 minutes to try to buy your product when I can simplify this situation. And if it's something that it is a repeat type of situation with your products. So let's say, for example, you sell oils or you sell teas or things like that. I know that I'm going to come back. And if it's a subscription type thing, then it's easy for me to be able to log in, see what I purchase the last thing that I had. My credit card's already in there, and all I have to do is click buy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's it. But some people are like, well, they need to have a true experience of my website. I'm like, people aren't like that. Again, humans are now gnats. We only have 8 seconds to get stuff done.
Yeah. Yes. That is so important for people to call out, because I think, like, you know, one of the things that came to mind when we were talking is you can't see the label from inside of the jar. And I say that in reference to your websites and things like that, because you are the only person, and I say this about social media posts too. And I'm like, you are the only person that knows exactly where everything is on your website. You are the only person that goes through and looks at your website 5-10 times a week, right? Like nobody else knows exactly where this button goes or where that is or how to find this or how to find that. Most of the people coming to your website, they are busy. They got stuff to do. They have a question that they need answered. And if they can't get that question answered in a short time frame, then you're going to lose them. And it's great, you know, so that's why it's great to have your retargeting ads pick back up, right? To give people that information and to get them back into your ecosystem. But it really is important, like you were saying, to make sure that 8 seconds that you have, you really give people the most impactful information. And I remember one time when we were running ads when I was running ads at Zappos, there was this company it's not really a very largely known brand. But they made like slides, like sandals for people who had larger feet. And as someone with a woman who has larger feet, I can appreciate this. And so
I got tiny feet, girl. I'm sorry.
I got big feet. I get it. I definitely my mom, my grandma, all of us, we got big feet. But
it's very tall too, Stacey. I mean, come on. At least
think I'm 5'7". People think I'm really not that tall. I'm really like just like 5'7". But so I remember we were running ads and we had these really cool lifestyle images of the slide, and it was this neon green slide, and we were running that in the ad. It was performing really well. And we were doing some landing page testing, because that's another thing you want to make sure you're doing with ads, y'all, is you're testing out your landing pages to see what's converting best and what's not, especially if you're e-commerce. Like, is it sorting by bestsellers? Is it sorting by new arrivals? Regardless. But we were driving traffic to an assortment of products. And one thing we found is that we had to have that when we had the green flip-flop that was in the ad at the top in the first search result, followed by all the other regular colors, the black, the white, all we saw that was the highest converting ad when we looked at our conversion rates from the people who looked at that ad to actually landed on that page to actually checking out. But the interesting thing, though, is when we dug a little deeper into what people were actually buying, most people were buying the black one. They weren't buying the neon green one. They were buying the black one, but they needed that recognition, right? They saw it in the ad on Facebook. They needed to make that connection that this was the same shoe that caught their attention, that caught their eye. But then they went through the process and bought the one that they wanted, the most, which was the black one or the white one or the more neutral colors. And so you have to really start to think about, putting yourself in the seat of your customers when you're actually navigating your website, instead of really kind of thinking about, okay, I've been through my website a million times, so I know where everything is at, right? And I audited someone's ads, because I do look at people's ads and kind of audit them and give them some tips. And one of the things we saw was she had like an editorial page with it was an editorial with product recommendations in there. So it's like, oh, here's how to dress your body. Here's some examples of things you can buy. And one of the things we found was that the links in the page weren't going to the product, right? It was just, there was a break between when somebody landed on the editorial, clicked the product, and then they couldn't get to the actual product to check out the details. So those kinds of things are important. That's why it's really important to go through your website as if you don't know who you are. And that's when I come on as someone's CMO, that's what I do. I go through all of their marketing. I go through their website. I go through everything as if I have no idea who they are and I'm coming in as a new person.
That is a good thing. When we test people's sites, even if we're thinking about like the A/B testing, I have people go on the site just on the cuff, just go on there and tell me what you think about it. I'm not asking for specifics. I'm asking more for, what is your first impression of the site? What is your thoughts about it? Reason being, sometimes being in it when if we got a lot of people that are on the call that develops their own site. So they, have their own platforms that they use. And you need to be able to kind of see it from a different eye. And it's very difficult when you are creating it, when you're doing it, when you're, you have like your own bubble that you've put yourself into, where somebody might ask you a question and you know how some people get, they be like, what you mean you don't like it?
Right.
What you mean it's not, the way that I thought it was supposed to be? Yeah, it's not. And it's not that you're trying to be a mean person. It's just like, this is what your outside audience sees. So it's always good to have, 10, 20 of your people go and take a look at it and tell you what they think about it, because that feedback is gold. It lets us know, oh, wait, maybe we missed it somewhere. Maybe the boat got shifted over somewhere else, because we need that. We need that feedback from others, and people kind of miss that part because they feel like, oh, you know how us creators are. We sit there and we say, oh, I've created this beautiful thing. It looks beautiful, doesn't it? What do you think? And then when somebody says, well, the blue doesn't work well with the red, and you're like, what do you mean? Now you mad.
Right, exactly.
Now you're mad. But it's because they saw it differently than you did. All you saw was beauty, but sometimes somebody else needs to look at it and say, okay, I see. I see the difference. We need that. We really do. And that's what A/B testing comes in. You go, because I could create 2 different pages for a person. I don't know which page is actually going to work. So I create the A/B testing and figure out what my results are based on how long I have that one thing out there. So I can have it out there for 24 hours. I can have it out there for 2 weeks. I want to know how many people are resonating with what pages and which ones are converting. Once you get through that A/B testing, then with the data, you can decide, okay, so B is testing way better than A, because A, maybe people are falling off because they're not getting the information correctly. But in B, more people are seeing it, like, oh man, I got exactly what I need. Let me sign up for whatever this is. And once they sign up, then it's like, oh, now you can see the data and you can get an understanding of what's going on in each of the paths. But some people are like, no, it's beautiful. What are you saying? I don't need to change that. It's beauty.
And I think that what definitely illustrates your point is that beauty is not the only deciding factor that someone has when they're buying from you, right? Like, if I can't cannot tell you how many times, if I can't check out easily, I'm not going to buy it. I'm going to say, this is a sign that I'm not supposed to buy this. And I'm just
half the time I'm buying stuff I ain't supposed to be buying in the first place. And every time I do go buy it, I'm like, okay, see, this took too long. You're not supposed to get it.
Exactly. So I think that, we've definitely talked about a lot today. I think we've given everybody a lot to think about. And I think that a couple things that stick out for me that I want people to really kind of take home is, one, the importance of understanding your data and like making sure that you really are digging into your data. And, even like the Facebook ads give you the ability to see so much data, so much more data than you get organically. I think that we're, when people are focused primarily on organic marketing, they're really, or organic social media, I should say, they really kind of miss out on a lot of that important data that they can get when they are investing ads. Like, there are worlds different based on the amount of data that you get when you're running ads versus the amount of data that you get when you're just primarily posting on organic social. So definitely make sure you're digging into your data. That's your Google Analytics, that's your Facebook Insights, that's your ad, all that kind of stuff is really important to help your customers or your clients get closer to the sale. The other thing that I think that is super important is we talked about making sure you have Google Analytics installed on your site, making sure you have your Facebook pixel installed on your site, because that opens you up to not only just the data, but it opens you up to being able to build these custom audiences and really understand how people are navigating your site. And you can then backtrack that to Facebook. And then my last insight I would definitely say is that beauty is not the only deciding factor in when someone's buying from you, right? So even if it's pretty, like, and I've say this with ads as well, not just your website, right? Like people want to make very pretty ads. And I'm like, I understand that you spent all this time creating this ad. However, we have tested it and it is not working. So turn it off. Move on. Do something. There are plenty of times
spending all the extra money that you don't need.
Divert that money into the ads that's working. Yeah, because there are like plenty of times, especially like if you're using influencer creative for your ads, which is something that, you know, I teach my clients how to do, in that, you know, you have to be able to spot something that's good for an ad versus something that's good to just post on your organic page and that's just going to get you a lot of engagement, because an ad it's a completely different function than just an organic post. And so those are kind of some of the 3 high level things that I take away from this conversation. Anything that you take away, anything that you want to add or that we haven't talked about?
I think we covered a lot today. No, all of the things that you said, I feel like those are kind of like the top main things that people really need to be paying attention to. We talked about Google Analytics, of course, and your website. So I guess if I do need to add one thing, having your website needs to make sense to what you are doing. It needs to make sense to your brand if you're putting your information out there. So that, again, it's one of the most important things that you have in your brand. So you definitely need to kind of take that and focus in on it. So using your website as a hub and really leveraging it is one of the biggest investments that you really could put forth. Yeah.
I agree. So so tell everybody how they can work with you, what you have going on, anything that you want to shout out, so that for the people that are like, hey, I need to make sure that my website is pretty and functional. What are some ways that people can work with you?
Ways that people can work with me, where I have a couple of things that we have brewing right now. One thing that I have that's out there, which is a $1 audit. Like some people are like, what? $1? Yes. My audits are normally about $1,500 because that's a full head-on audit. But I said, you know what? I am on a mission to help as many small businesses get their acts together when it comes to their website. And I definitely want to help you with an audit. So I'm offering a 20-minute audit for $1. Like you can't get, I mean, come on, you ain't got no dollar in your pocket. Then
look, I'm about to go get the dollar out of my pocket.
Because the problem that people are running into is they're not selling their services. And a lot of times I could take a look almost at the first page and tell you what's happening and things that you need to do to your site so that you can start selling from it very quickly. So that's one thing that we do have. And it's let me see. Oh, we can't drop anything in chat.
Well, we'll make sure we drop the link on the replay.
Yeah, definitely. So people can go to Luckett & Co. Luckett is my name, and the word co.com /20-minute audit. And that way you can go ahead and go straight to the landing page and go check it out for yourself and sign up. It's $1. I mean, come on. I'm trying to help you. Help me help you. That's the way I look at it. Another service that we do have templates for people who are trying to do it on their own, but they kind of need the guidance, and we're here to help them with that guidance. I actually have something that I'm brewing up right now. It's called Website in a Weekend. So it is a full head-on 2-day intensive so that I can hold your hand through this process and we can get it right so that by Monday morning, you're actually pressing publish and you can publish your website. So that is another service that we're offering right now, which is really, really exciting. We're in the process of working on that now. So yeah, a lot of my clients were like, okay, Sequenna, I love you and I love your templates and I really, really want to work with you, but I don't know if I could do it by myself. And I'm like, that's okay. So now in this intensive, you got me for 2 full days and we can walk through the process. I can hold your hand and guide you through the whole thing. Any questions that you have, I can answer all of your questions for you too. So
I love that. I love that. Y'all definitely make sure that y'all take advantage of that, and make sure that if you are interested in that, we are going to drop the link in the on the comments of the replay. Since StreamYard is not letting us drop the comments right here, we're going to make sure that it's there for you. Or if you need it, just hit me and I'll make sure that make sure that you get it. And the way that you can work with me, this is actually the first time I'm talking about this live. This is something I've been kind of like testing out with some of my clients that come my way. And what I have now available is an ad sprint. And so really it's you working with me and my team for 30 days and we're going to get your ads launched. Okay. So, we're primarily focused on Facebook and Instagram ads. So if you are someone that's like, hey, I need you to get it set up for me. I need you to do the strategy for me. And I need you to get, make sure that we're going in the right direction. And you want me to actually have my eyes and hands on your ads. This is definitely something that you want to make sure you take advantage of, because like I said, you're going to get my expertise on your ads, me and my team's expertise on your ads for 30 days. You're going to get them set up. You're going to get chat and email support with us. You can access questions, all the things. But this is really designed for you. If you're like, hey, I've been saying I wanted to get my ads launched for months, for years, maybe. And I just haven't been able to do it because I keep finding, everything keeps getting in the way. But I really just need someone to go ahead and get this set up. And you want to make sure that you get it set up the right way, structurally and, strategy wise. Definitely make sure that you take advantage of this ad sprint. So if you want to learn more about the ad sprint and I want to make sure that it's right for you, send me a DM, send me a message on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, wherever. Y'all know I'm all over these social streets, or book a call with me. And if you could book a call with me, for sure, it's, I'll give you a link to book a call and we'll definitely talk about it to make sure that you're in the best position to make sure that an ad sprint is what you need right now. Because again, this is an offer that I'm really just created and I've just got the first few clients through it and they're, really enjoying it. They're loving that their ads are live. But then they actually go ahead and take it within themselves and their team to be able to go ahead and manage the rest of it themselves. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of a hybrid. If you're not at that point where you're ready for an agency and you're not at that point where you're like, a course just isn't going to cut it. So this really is an offer that we've created for those folks that are right in the middle that want some kind of hybrid. So again, send me a DM or book a call with me and we'll talk about that. So this has been fantastic, y'all. I hope that you learned a lot from this live. I hope you really taken away that, your ads and your websites should be playing together. They should be working together like peanut butter and jelly rather than feeling like they're operating in silos. So I hope this was helpful. Anything to leave us with, Sequenna, before we close out?
I do. I hope that this was helpful to people. I love having conversations like this where we can actually kind of bounce off of each other because there's so much that you and I, when we did have our initial conversation, you and I were like, oh my God, we're in the same realm. We're not in the same field, but everything kind of meshes together. And some people don't even realize that you kind of need all of these different components to make something work. You may not go to only having one person that can do everything. You might need multiple experts that can get things done. And like with Stacey, you are awesome when it comes to ads and marketing and all that stuff. And I'm really good at the website stuff. I mean, I've been doing this for a long time. So,
come on, talk that shit. Yes.
Okay. So for us, I know, pat myself on the back. Yeah. But yeah, we need to realize how all of these components and parts kind of come together. And when you're a small business, you think I can do it all by myself. Yeah, you can, but look at how much money you actually lost when you can just invest in experts that know what to do regardless. You don't know. Hey, I'm always saying I'm gonna stay in my lane. When it comes to like advertisements, hey, I'm gonna call you, Stace, because I don't know. Okay, I'm not even gonna try, but I do know enough to understand that, oh man, I need to talk to Stacey to make this part work for what I'm doing. Hey, I'm all on it. But I stay in my lane when it comes to websites, tech and stuff. Like I can connect pixels and Google Analytics. I connect all of those dots together. Now, when it comes to like running advertisements, I can design the advertisements too, because that's what I do. I'm in branding. I can't help myself. But I always say, you don't always know what to do. So it's best to just reach out, ask a question, and y'all stop being afraid of people because you think just because they look good, they price is like super high. You don't know. You know what I'm saying? Let's be real about this, because sometimes you will never know. Like my mom always says, closed mouths don't get fed. You have no idea what you don't know until you start asking questions to someone, and you can say, well, how much is your services? And you say, oh, it's $2,000. They're like, oh, that's not bad.
Let me tell you, that happened to me this week. I'm looking around and talking to CFOs and bookkeepers and things. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's how much it's going to cost. Cool. I'm thinking it's going to cost like, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. But now that I have a couple prices, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I could do that.
It's doable. So sometimes you'd be like, oh, that's doable. I didn't know, because you didn't ask. All you have to do is just pick up the phone or reach out, get on somebody's calendar. And when they tell you, because I know sometimes people hear my prices and they be like, oh God, I'm not there yet, Sequenna. This is one of the reasons why I said, okay, let me do this intensive so I can hold y'all hand to get y'all to where y'all need to be, because y'all need to know. Yeah, it's not so bad. It's not that bad. Y'all can call me and ask me questions because I'm an open book. I'm ready to give you information.
I agree. And if I don't know, I'm gonna point you to the person that does know.
Okay.
So yes, exactly. I stay in my lane, so I get it. So thanks, y'all. This has been awesome. So if you have any questions or anything like that, if you want to take advantage of either of our offers, make sure that you either reach out to one of us or reach out. You can happily reach out to me, and I'll get you in touch with Sequenna if you are following me on my stuff. And I'm sure that if you reach out to her and you want to get in touch with me, she'll connect you with me. But either way, we're going to drop some links in the replay comments so that y'all can get all the information. But this has been fantastic. I hope that y'all have learned a lot. We're going to go ahead and close out here. And if any questions come up, or if you're watching the replay, definitely please feel free to comment that stuff there, and we'll make sure that we get back to y'all. All right, y'all. Have a great day.
Bye.
OMG, that episode was packed with gems. Are you ready for more? Head over to stacyzeal.co/podcast to get the show notes and to sign up to get our top 5 podcast episodes to help you streamline your marketing so you can make this your $1 million year. Head over to stacyzeal.co/podcast.